The Andaman and Nicobar Command is the only tri-service theatre command of the Indian Armed Forces, based at Port Blair in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, a Union Territory of India. It was created in 2001 to safeguard India's strategic interests in Southeast Asia and the Strait of Malacca by increasing rapid deployment of military assets in the region. As of 2014, the command includes 15 ships of the Indian Navy, 2 Navy sea bases, 4 Air Force and Naval Air Bases and an Army brigade. The Andaman and Nicobar Command is India's first and only joint tri-service command, with rotating 3-star commanders-in-chief from the Army, Navy and Air Force reporting directly to the chairman of the Chiefs of Staff Committee. History. Previously there was a consideration to replace Fortress Commander, Andaman and Nicobar Islands with a Far Eastern Naval Command. The previous plan to set up FENC was set in motion in 1995 following a closed-door meeting in Washington between then Indian Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao and then U.S. President Bill Clinton. At the time, Pentagon officials made a formal request to the United Front coalition government in New Delhi to open a base in the islands. The 750 km long Andaman and Nicobar archipelago comprise a chain of 572 islands, and is located about 1,200 kilometers from mainland India, but is merely 90 kilometers from Indonesia and 50 kilometers from Myanmar. An Indian Armed Forces command at Andaman and Nicobar Islands would help to prevent smuggling, piracy, drug and gun trafficking, poaching and illegal immigration in the region and especially in the Malacca Strait. The A&AMP-NC would also be in a position to assist the multinational Malacca Straits Security Initiative, aimed at curbing threats in the Malacca Straits. An Indian command in the islands could also counter any future threat from China, which was rumored to have set up a surveillance post in Myanmar's Coco Islands, 40 kilometers off the northern tip of the Andamans. But this was proved incorrect. The group of ministers' report on reforming the national security system recommended the replacement of the FORTAN under the Indian Navy with a joint Andaman and Nicobar Command which will control the assets of the tri-services and the Coast Guard on the islands. The GOM had recommended that the commander of this joint command would report to the proposed Chief of Defense Staff. The Andaman and Nicobar Command was in place by the end of September 2001. Force structure. The Andaman and Nicobar Command is commanded by a 3-star officer who reports directly to the chairman of the Chiefs of Staff Committee in New Delhi. The Chief of Staff of the command is a 2-star officer. Each component is commanded by a 1-star officer. Vice Admiral Arun Prakash was the first Commander-in-Chief of the Andaman and Nicobar Command. The command is currently headed by Vice Admiral Bimal Verma, who took command on the 29th of February 2016, and is the 13th commander. Assets. As of May 2015, there are 20 surface warships of the Navy based at INS Jarawa, Port Blair under the A&AMP-N command, up from 15 ships in 2014 and 13 ships in 2011. Naval vessels include Shrinkat-class patrol vessel, Mk, 3 LCU vessels, Polnozhny D-class amphibious warfare vessels and the SDB-Mk, 3 large patrol craft. The port bases, amphibious platforms, offshore patrol vessels and fast attack crafts. Since 2013, 2 Saoyu-class patrol vessels have been home-ported at Port Blair. The command provides logistical and administrative support to naval ships which are sent on deployment to East Asia and the Pacific Ocean. On 6 April 2016, INS Karmuk, a missile corvette ship, was rebased to Port Blair from Eastern Naval Command. For amphibious warfare, the command has a large landing ship tank that can carry about 220 fully armed troops along with 6 trucks, 10 main battle tanks and 12 infantry combat vehicles for long duration. For short duration, an 800-men battalion could also be carried. The vessel also has a medium LSD, apart from several landing craft utility with capacity to carry and beach 35 armed troops. The 108th Infantry Brigade of the Indian Army, comprising 3 battalions, which includes the 21 Bihar, is deployed to the Andaman and Command. Dornier, a 228 maritime patrol craft and Mi-8 helicopters, operating from airfields at Port Blair, Nicobar, Campbell Bay and Diglipur, maintain surveillance over the sea areas and approaches. The Andaman and Nicobar region of the Indian Coast Guard also falls under the purview of the command. In July 2012, the Navy commissioned Bars, a Naval Air Station which is located 300 nautical miles south of Port Blair and is the southernmost air station of the Indian Armed Forces. Modernization. In 2013, the Navy proposed to station a nuclear submarine and a landing deck platform at the islands in the future, and the Indian Air Force has decided to station Sukhoi Su-30 Mki fighters on the islands along with increasing the number of operational airfields. The Army's single brigade is planned to be increased by deploying a division-size force under the command. In 2015, it was reported that under the overall Island Development Plan, which includes a new Naval Air Station at Campbell Bay, the existing runways at Campbell Bay and Shabpur are to be extended, while more airstrips are proposed in the archipelago and more operational turnaround bases. The number of naval vessels based in the island chain will increase to 32 before 2022. In addition, Japanese war bunkers, constructed during Japanese occupation of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands during the World War II, will be revived to bolster security operations. The Andaman and Nicobar Command manages Indian engagement with regional navies of Southeast Asia. It conducts biannual coordinated patrols with the navies of Thailand and Indonesia, the annual SIMBEX maritime exercises with Singapore, and the biennial Milan multilateral naval exercises. The command also patrols India's exclusive economic zone to suppress gun running, narcotics smuggling, piracy, and poaching, and conducts maritime surveillance, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. In April 2016, the command conducted an amphibious exercise called Jal Prahar to check readiness and to ensure functional integrity of all 3 services on the islands: ships, aircraft and troops, along with tanks from both the Eastern Naval Command and Andaman and Nicobar Command participated in the exercise. Between 19 to 27 April 2016, Karmak and Dornier aircraft participated in the 22nd Indo-Thai Coordinated Patrol Exercise in the Andaman Sea. The 2 navies have been carrying out CORP-80s twice a year since 2005, with the aim of keeping the region safe and secure for commercial shipping and international trade. Between 28 April 19 May 2016, Karmak and Dornier aircraft participated in the 27th India-Indonesia Coordinated Patrol in the Andaman Seas with the aim to secure trade routes and enhance interoperability between the 2 navies. The Indonesian Navy was represented by the ship Kri Imam Bonchol and maritime patrol aircraft CN-235. Surface and airborne assets from the Andaman and Nicobar Command took part in the effort to search Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. The command Contributed Navy ships: INS RU, INS Castrian, INS Khmer, and Coast Guard vessels: ICGS Kanaklata Barua, ICGS Bikaji Kama, and ICGS Sagar. For aerial maritime surveillance, the command dedicated two Navy Boeing P-8I Neptunes, Coast Guard Dornier 228, and Indian Air Force C-130J Super Hercules from Port Blair, and Navy Dornier 228 from Car Nicobar. The Commander-in-Chief Andaman and Nicobar Command was nominated as the overall force commander of the Indian forces, which included Air Force Mi-17 and Navy Shivalik-class frigates INS Satpura and INS Sahyadri, and patrol vessel INS Bati Malv from the Eastern Naval Command. List of bases. The following are the air and naval bases under the A and AMP Sea Command.